Hey guys, Gathering the Magic back again. So, need you to sit back, relax, grab a drink, and this is probably going to be a longer video. So, like I said, sit back and relax and let's get started. So I had an idea for, because of the Great Burning event that's going on now, a way that the team could come up with a constant burning mechanic where people could earn cards, basically make cards that are dual splinter cards, kind of like Zeriel. And the only way to get these would be by burning cards and burning DEC. So I think this is a great way to burn DEC, which is something everybody wants. We want to burn DEC, get rid of it, get it back to peg. This is also a good way to get the cards that you want, rather than purchasing a pack and hoping that you get the card that you want. This is also a way to get the rarity of card you want. Let's say, for example, you want to get epics and legendaries. You don't care about commons and rares. Well, this is a way you can do that. And also, if you want the gold foil version, this will allow you to do that. I know there's some people like myself that play in gold guild brawls. We need the gold cards. We don't need the regular foil version. So I'm going to walk you through just my idea for this and what it is and what it involves. So basically, if you go to your Splinterlands account right now and you go on your items tab and go to cards, you can see all your cards listed and you can kind of sort these, as you guys know. Let's say you sort by Soulbound. Now the cards that you don't own but are available are kind of grayed out here. Now that is kind of my idea for the dual splinter cards, is you would have a tab and it will say dual splinter. So in the beginning you won't have any of these, so they will all be grayed out, but you will be able to see the card. You'll be able to see the artwork and you'll be able to see the stats. Now what I'm thinking of is when you click on the card, it will show you in this section the cost to get one of these cards. So for example, the dual splinter cards, well, let's go through what the different splinters could be before we get into those specifics. So I'm thinking, I'm taking this from Magic the Gathering. You have basically the same idea where you have ally and enemy splinters and you have different combinations. So my idea was they could do a couple different sets of these dual splinter cards. One could be for ally, one could be for enemy. So let's say the first set they come up with 5 different dual splinter cards. So they're life and earth, life and water, death and fire, death and water, and fire and earth. So of these dual splinter cards, you would have, let's say for example, 4 of each common. So you would have 4 different common cards that are life and earth and so on. You'd have 3 rares, 2 epics, and 1 legendary. So all told, you would have 10 cards from each of these. So you would have 50 total cards in this subset that you could add to your collection. So the cost would be, let's go down here. For the common to get started, because you have to start with commons for this example, let's say you wanted to get the Life Earth common card. So what you would do is you would spend 2 common cards. You would combine 2 life cards, 2 Earth common cards from any set, and 25 DEC. You would combine them. Those cards would be burnt, and the DEC would be burnt, and you would get 1 of the 4 common cards for Life Earth. So that would be an example of how it would get started. I had an example here. You know, let's say you wanted to get one of the Deathfire common cards. You could burn a Pellicord Deceiver, which is a death card, Nightmare, which is a death card, Bloodmaker, which is fire, Lava Spider, fire, 25 DEC, and you'd get one of those cards. So that's an example of how you would start getting the commons. To incorporate potions into this, because I know the more uses we can get for potions, the better. When you combine these cards and try to create these dual splinter cards, it will give you the option whether you want to use gold potions and alchemy potions. If you use gold potions, it would give you an extra 10% chance of that card that you created becoming gold. If you use an alchemy potion, you would get a 5% chance of getting a higher rarity card. So instead of combining those 4 common cards and getting a common dual splinter, maybe you have a 5% chance of getting a rare instead. Or you could get an additional card. So alchemy potions would be good because you can either get the higher rarity or you can get an additional card. So you're spending 4 commons to get 1 dual common card. Maybe you get 2 instead. So this will give potions a little bit of utility. So let's go over some of the costs. So for your commons, like I said, to make a common dual splinter card, you would need 4 commons, any set, 2 of each. So if you're going for, like, say, for example, the fire death, you would need 2 death cards, 2 fire cards, spend your 25 DEC, boom. You get one of the random common cards for fire and death. Now, if you wanted that to be a gold card, you would take 4 of the same dual splinter card, spend 50 DEC, and you get the gold foil. If you spend 4 common dual splinter cards, but they're different, they're not all the same card, you've got 4 different ones, or maybe 2 of one type, 2 of another, you're going to get a gold foil, but it's going to be random. So this way, if you are looking for gold foil cards that you need for guild brawls, or you just want that 10% bonus for battling, this is a good way that you can get rid of your regular cards and change them into gold foils. Now, moving on to the rares, the only way you can get a rare dual splinter card is you have to have at least 1 dual splinter common. So that's the only way. So you would need to take 4 commons, any set, but at least 1 of them is dual, and you will get a random dual rare splinter card, 25% chance for each common that is dual splinter. So if you want to roll the dice and just use 1 of these dual splinter common cards and then 3 others, crappy commons, you can do it, but you only have a 25% chance of getting that random dual splinter card. So what happens if you don't? We'll get to that in a bit. Okay, so now if you have 4 of the rare dual splinter cards and they're all the same, you can spend some DEC, turn it to gold foil. If you have 4 different ones, same thing, spend a little DEC and you'll get a random gold foil. The cost goes up for an epic. Now for an epic, instead of 4 cards, and I'm taking this from Splinter Forge because Splinter Forge has a reforging mechanic that I really like. And it's the same in Splinter Forge where you take 4 commons, reforge them into a rare, and this you would take 6 rares, reforge them into an epic. Now for this, you need to have at least 2 of your 6 rares be dual splinter cards. You can use all 6, you can use 5 of 6, but at least 2 have to be dual splinters. For each one above the first 2 will give you an extra 20% chance that your combination is successful. So this should work out to, if you only use 3 out of the 6, it'll be 40%, 4 of 6 would be 60, and so on. If you want the gold foil versions, you would take 6 of the same epic, spend the DEC, get the gold foil, or 6 different dual splinter epics and combine them and get a gold foil of that version. And for legendary, if you play Splinter Forge, you know the cost for combining epics is 8. So if you combine 8 epic cards, any set, but at least 4 of them have to be the dual splinter cards, spend the DEC, you're going to get a random one. For every one that you spend above the 4, it'll give you a 20% chance. So of course, if you spend all 8 and all 8 are dual splinter cards, you are guaranteed to get a one of the random dual splinter legendary cards. And then of course the cost is a little bit higher for the gold foil versions. Now, so what happens if you are unsuccessful in your combination? Here's what happens. If you don't succeed, you don't lose your dual splinter cards. You get those back. But you have burnt the DEC, you are not getting that back, and you also will not get back the non-dual card splinter cards that you used in the combine. So say for example, you're combining 8 epics to try to get a legendary card. You use the minimum 4 dual splinter cards. You've got a 20% chance, you fail. Okay, you're getting your 4 cards back that are dual splinter. You're losing the other 4 epics. Those are getting burnt and converted to DEC. And you've burnt 2500 DEC that is just lost. So you're going to get a little bit of the DEC back and whatever the cost, whatever the burn value was for those 4 epics that you lost, but you're not getting back this DEC. And then you can go and try it again. You can use the same 4 dual Splinter cards, get 4 more epics out of your collection, spend another 2,500 DEC, and try again. So you're only limited by the amount of DEC that you're willing to spend and what epics you're willing to burn. Now remember too, if you are successful in this combination, those cards are going away. You're losing all of them, even the dual Splinter cards. So those are all going away and those are all converted into the new card that you're earning. So just to make that clear. And another thing I was thinking about adding chances of success is instead of just saying, hey, I'm just going to go, I want a legendary card, I'm just going to burn 4 of the crappiest epics, the cheapest ones on the market. Well, just for a little bit of an incentive, what you could do is, like, if you spend an alpha card or a beta card or a gold card, you'll increase your chance of success without having to waste one of your dual Splinter cards. Because I know what some people will say is, hey, it costs me a lot to just make, these common cards, and I don't want to just burn them all trying for rares. I want to level these up, and keep these in my collection and play with them, add them to my deck. You can do that, but at the higher tiers, you're going to have the option of not having to waste all of them to combine to a higher level. You can save some of them and then only use a couple and take the chance. Take the chance of 20%, 40% that you make it. And if you fail, you can just try again with cheaper cards. But I think this is, like I said, an interesting idea. It's a good way to get a new mechanic. Not really a new mechanic, but a way to get DEC burnt, a way that you can go for either regular foil versions or gold foil versions. These cards would be hard to get, especially at the higher tiers, because it's going to cost you some DEC and some cards to get rares. Then you need more rares to get an epic. Then you need even more epics to get a legendary, and the cost goes up. One final thing that I did not put in the notes. These cards will be soulbound for a time, just like the current soulbound cards are, but eventually they will be unbindable. You will be able to unbind them and sell them on the marketplace. And just because of the cost that you put into creating these cards is going to kind of give them a floor price. Like if you're spending 4,000 DEC just to try to make, a gold foil legendary. Okay, so this is when DEC is at peg, $4 plus whatever your cost was to create these 8 legendaries. Well, each legendary cost you at least 2,500 DEC, so you can kind of see where the floor price is going to be set rather high, which will give them a good value. So it'll kind of maintain a card value, so these cards won't be worthless. They will be soulbound for a time, so they're not going to be flooding the market. And when they do eventually come on the market, they should have a good value. So just my ideas. So I think it's pretty interesting, could be fun. Like I said, it would be a great way to get some dual Splinter cards, which currently don't exist other than Zerial. It'd be a great burn mechanic. These cards, like I said, would not be in packs. So each person could kind of go for the cards they want, instead of opening a pack and just getting, a card that it's like, okay, I don't play Deathfire. I don't want that. I'd rather have Life Water. You can specifically target the dual Splinter cards that you are going for. Okay, guys, so let me know in the comments what you think of this idea. Is this a good idea? If I could afford it, maybe I will try to make this a proposal to send it in to the team to see if this is something that they would be interested in looking at. Let me know your comments, thoughts, ideas, improvements on this. As always, thank you for watching, and keep on forging.